We now are moving forward with plans and conceptual plans for about 25 lane miles of bike infrastructure as a result of that planning effort. And so that's why we have you here tonight to talk to us and our consultants about a number of these projects to get your feedback. And we certainly want to engage you on that with these different projects. So we can incorporate that into a lot of these projects on the front end. We also have some other folks that I'm going to introduce, basically an opportunity to do some things holistically and synergistically to get the best kind of product in the end. Real quick, again, I'm Jacob Helmboldt. In the back, we have Mike Sawyer. He's our transportation engineer. He's actually kind of filtering up front. He can ask some he can answer questions. We have two of our on-call consultants. On-calls are simply consultant firms that we have under contract to be able to do work for us. So we have, we're kind of spread out. David Capricini, Jenna Samandel. Do you have anyone else there tonight? I was going to say, I thought Daniel was going to be, Danielle Soriano in the back. There she is. So they're with Kimley Horn and Associates. And so they've got some of the projects, the corridors that we're working on. Then also VHB, John Cardy, Chris DeWitt, and Marshall Agee are from that firm. And so you can see the list of the projects that they're working on for us. So they're here. Do you have anyone else? Did Ashley not? Okay, so and another person, Ashley Lickletter. So again, people to answer your questions. Also in the back, at the table by the door, no, I'm sorry, at the table next to Bike Walk RVA, Andy Clark is here. Andy, some of you may know from his many years as the executive director of the League of American Bicyclists. He is now with Tool Design Group. And is Amy here tonight? I'm not sure if she is, but so anyway, concurrent to what we're doing, Tool Design, working on behalf of Federal Highway Administration, is providing technical assistance to the city to look at the bus rapid transit corridor where we're going to be focusing on better bike and pedestrian access to the BRT line through kind of nodes where we're going to focus transit-oriented development. So since that is happening at the same time, we thought this was a good opportunity to have Andy and if anyone else is there with him, just to answer questions, to kind of be able to get the big picture look at how some of these projects and other projects will be aligning. And then last but not least, Bike Walk RVA, Max and his crew in the back. A lot of you have already filtered past his table. They're here to kind of talk to you about some of their engagement efforts, and also once we start putting these 25 miles on the ground, what do we then start moving forward towards filling in the gaps, making those connections, and continuing to build out networks of bike infrastructure. So we wanted to bring a lot of people to the table and really get some good dialogue going. A lot of you have kind of already been circulating, so it's pretty much an open house format. There's some conceptual boards. Some of them have options, some of them don't, depending upon the conditions. There are a couple of projects, one of which is complete, Grayland Avenue. It's a contraflow bike lane on the one-way section over in the Randolph community. That's more just kind of to be able to see what that will be looking like. John Cardy over here on this wall has the 90% plans for the Franklin Street cycle track project that we kicked off back in the spring. So that's nearing completion, but there are still some opportunities for discussion on some of those design details as we move towards completion of that. And then also the options where there are different alternatives. We certainly want to get your feedback. So the comment sheets that we have allow you to kind of note some of your preferred options, comments on the back. If you do so, please note the specific project and option that you're referring, so that we can then aggregate those and have those well organized and know what exactly we're getting back from you in terms of your responses. What you'll also see on the boards is some red circles. Those basically denote where there's kind of a different condition. Because these are conceptual, we're not getting down into the on-the-ground details. We're looking at primarily what's called a typical section. So those will be areas that get fleshed out in the design process later on. Just a couple quick examples. So where we have different options, talk to the folks at those tables, talk through the things that you like, don't like, what you would prefer. And again, we'll start aggregating the feedback that we get. This is another example there from the Kimley Horn team, just to kind of orient you to some of the different conditions. In particular, we want to look at some of the conditions that relate to the project, say what we do with parking, whether we're eliminating parking, whether we're shifting parking off the curb, and serving as kind of a barrier separation for the bike lanes. So provide us with those comments, especially if you live in any of those communities, what you kind of observe the impacts might be with any different conditions. And again, just the sheet, so if you have a specific comment on the back, just make sure you let us know which project and which option or alternative that you're referring to. We're also going to have this online. It will be up either tonight or by close of business tomorrow. So the presentation, the comment form, the display boards will all be available. If you have friends that you know might be interested in this, let them know, tweet it out, share on social media, let folks know if they weren't able to attend tonight. We'll have that up for 2 or 3 weeks to allow people to provide feedback as well that weren't able to attend tonight.